I think this is a very well done book for those who like to exercise. What does exercise mean? That the author offers something like 100 exercise based on these champions that you can see the pictures, right? Fischer, Kasparov, Carlsen, Karpov, Anand, Kramnik, and the last one is Ding Liren. The book also starts telling you something very important. What will you learn from this book? This book teaches you how to improve your workplace piece, exploit a lead in development, make the right piece trade, create a strong square, discover your opponent's weaker spots, use an open file, launch a powerful pawn break, and open up the position when needed. How does the book do that? Well, the book, like I said, is made on chapter relative to a champion. In each chapter there is a presentation of a champion, and then this is the beautiful part that I wanted to show you. There are the positions. So this is an exercise. You can pause the video, try to find the solution, okay, and then you just turn the page and you have your own solution on this side, okay. So let me pause the video for a second so I can improve the viewing. And here you have another exercise, right? How did Fischer win the fight over the control of the A file? And then, of course, now you pause the video, put the position on your board, try to find the solution, and when you're ready, here we go. Here you can see the solution. How did he do it? With rook HB1. And he explains you why. But this is done all over the book for exercise after exercise after exercise. So it's really a great way to learn. It's a book that you need to have. Now, as always, I will present some positions, in this case from Karpov. They are games that are given in the Karpov chapter. And then, of course, you will decide if you like the book or not, because after all, this is what we are all about, right? We want to try to spend our money wisely on books that actually help us to improve as chess player. Okay, here you have a game from part 2, the chapter on Anatoly Karpov. Which is start with the boa constrictor. The author writes, "This game has always made a deep impression on me, as Karpov treats a position with opposite side castle king," so obviously this will go here and that is there, "much differently than you would expect." This game was played in Dortmund 1993 between Anatoly Karpov, in the time it seems 27-25, and Sergei Dolmatov 26-15. Okay, so white to move, and white start with g4. The center is closed, which means that Karpov can advance his kingside pawns without worrying about his king's safety. h5, g5, knight h7, and now there is rook g1. This move anticipates the upcoming f7, f6, which black has to play at some point to liberate his pieces. f6, g takes f6, queen takes f6. And here there is another diagram. Due to the rook on g1, black has to recapture with a major piece to keep g6 protected. Okay? Now Karpov castle. Notice how interesting is this. While he said that the king was safe in the center, is castling on an open file. Okay. However, this still needs to be developed, and then he needs to create an attack, but he doesn't have a majority on that side, which means probably that the black pieces are not well coordinated. Let's see what the author says. It was time to move the king to safety. There was no need to protect f3, since queen takes f3 can be easily met with rook takes g6. So this book is also teaching through this example games, this fragment of games, what is important and what is not. So how did black continue? Black continued with rook f7, king b1, obviously takes it away from the file, b5, knight c1, knight d f8. We see that Dolmatov is trying to protect, create a stronger protection. In fact, he says black protects the g6 pawn a second time, so this time the threat of taking on f3 it's real, because you cannot take back. Yeah. But bishop e2, bishop d7. As you can see now, finally the file is open for the rook. And here there is another diagram. So again, I always tell you this, I hope I'm not annoying you, but if there is a diagram in the book, it means it's important, it means you must stop and watch the board for a while. So this is the reason why you buy books. You buy books because you want an author that is a title player or a very expert player to teach you when to pay attention in the game. And here it says, this is an interesting moment in the game. Very often we associate position with opposite side castle king with fierce attacks, but with so many defending black pieces in the upper corner, they are all here if you notice, Karpov realizes that such an attack cannot be very successful. Yeah, there is only one rook. This is not enough, right? Yeah. And there is no need to. Karpov has never been interested in a kingside attack, but intends to strike on the side of a board where he has the piece majority. So where do you see that he has the piece majority? Obviously, you also see where they are going, right? a3, queen d8. Now maybe black is starting to realize that he has one side of the board that is totally empty. At this point, look, also the author is saying the same thing that I just noticed. At this point, black must have realized what was coming. He cannot make any progress on the king side himself, yeah, because there is no attack there is nothing to attack there, and must redirect his pieces towards the queen side as quickly as possible. Knight a1, a2, queen b8, and knight b4. Karpov's pieces have more maneuvering space and can, therefore, reach their optimal squares much quicker. Queen b7, rook c1, bishop e8, he's trying to bring the rooks all on the c file probably, knight c a2, and knight c8. So, sorry, not knight c8, rook c8. Now, what does Karpov play? Karpov plays rook takes c8. Exchanging pieces is an excellent technique to exploit a piece majority on a certain part of a board, as it will increase the relative value of your advantage. Defending with 3 pieces against 5 is much easier than with 2 against 4. Queen takes c8, rook c1, rook a8, and knight c6. watch the minor black pieces in the upper corner being ready for an attack that never came. So imagine they are all here doing nothing because there is nothing here happening, right? So imagine how amazing it is, and this is the point that chess is really strategic in this case, and that's why you need to play chess with long time controls, because you have time to think at this kind of strategies, right? You cannot create them out of nothing. Then of course it's possible that champions like Karpov, Carlsen, Fischer are able to create this thing also on a blitz game, but I think for amateurs and club players it must be a little more difficult. Okay, so let's see where we are. Okay, so watch the pieces being all there. Yeah, and now we can see black will be completely overrun on the queen side. Wow, let's see what happens. Okay, so white played just this, knight c6. Now it's black, and black plays bishop f6, queen a5, bishop g5, bishop takes g5, knight takes g5, knight a b4, knight takes f3, bishop takes f3, rook takes f3, and knight e7, king f7, knight c8. And yeah, now black has a problem, right? Bishop d7. Now the problem is if he plays rook f6 to defend this, there is queen d8, and it starts to become a problem because you're going to be killed by that. Okay, so that's the reason of bishop d7. And white plays knight takes d6, king g8, knight c6, rook f6, queen c7, bishop takes c6, rook takes c6, and here black resigned. Okay, so this is game over for black. And you can see that in this case, if you notice, the material is equal, because black has one rook, white has one rook, black has one knight, white has one knight, black has one queen, white has one queen. But what is the difference here? The difference is the position, obviously, that is totally, and the fact that this pass protected pawn is a kind of thorn which will be invincible in the end. But probably also the fact that by now probably black cannot avoid the loss. And notice also this, the forces of white are all together, black is again once more totally uncoordinated and divided. So this is a very interesting game. Of course, there are many other games in this book that are worth to be watched. Let me know in the comment if you would like to see more.